Hello, everybody. Hello to everybody in the chat. So great to see you here. I'm Natalie, and this is Scientology Life After a Cult, where we talk about what has the internet buzzing in terms of Scientology, Scientology news, Scientology protesting, Scientology shenanigans, all kinds of things. And I also talk about my 35 years in Scientology and how I escaped with 3 generations of my family. Good morning, good afternoon, could also be good evening, depending on where you're watching from. Thank you for being here. I would love it if you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, everybody, on your way in. Help us get those notifications out. We are starting a little earlier this morning than normal because I got to run to a meeting after this. So we have a lot to get through. I'm so glad that you're here. We're going to jump into it. JB, thank you so much for that super chat. Aloha from Hawaii. Oh, I love that. More exposure protests should be done against OTH's Marisol Nichols and her Scientology front groups, Slavery Free World. Wow, is that the actual name of the group? Their crusade to bring an end to human trafficking is hypocritical. Rose-colored glasses. Yes, JB, I'm totally with you on this one. In fact, we are talking today about, as you probably know, a little bit about Marisol Nichols and Nancy Cartwright and how this video came across my emails, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's a little dated. We're going to have fun with it. I'm going to show it to you. But yeah, JB, this is awesome that you're in Hawaii. There's religious freedom. I'm getting his handle wrong, but he's been out there sharing some videos from Hawaii. But you're right. I need to look into that front group and learn more about it. If anybody has any info you want to send me, send it to Natalie@lifeafteraccult.com and I'll take a peek at that. Juanita Crespo, thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Surrounded by Scientology, George, thank you so much for becoming a member. And hello, George. George, I am still thinking about the video you did that we shared. We shared the clip earlier in the week when you spoke to, it was a city council person or somebody in that town that took back their L. Ron Hubbard Day proclamation. That was such a great interview there. JB, also, thank you. Mahalo for becoming a new member. Hip, hip, hooray, everybody. Hello to all the members, too, who are here in the chat today. I can see you. All right. Okay. So I want to share first PTS for Life over in Canada. Jeff, I just love him. He's doing an amazing job. Not only is Jeff out there protesting Scientology in Canada, in Vancouver, in Seattle, in Portland, and I have a feeling we're going to see him in other places. Jeff's putting out this Dear Scientologist series, and I just love it. I completely love it. He also interviews Canadian and other ex-Scientologists, but mainly he's been doing stuff lately of people protesting in Canada, like Kim McNeil and or MacNeil, I think it's pronounced Kim MacNeil. And it's just great. If you're not subscribed to him and these people, make sure you do, because I just love what they're doing. And this is another really good one from Jeff over at PTS for Life. Hey, Scientology. Take a look. I just love that. And it really just calls out this whole ideal organization scam, which we are going to get into today on multiple levels. Many years ago, David Miscavige came up with this grand plan. Hey, So I'm repackaging books and I'm making Scientologists buy them again. I am taking Scientologists at the top of the bridge to total freedom and I'm sending them back down to the bottom and making them do it again, doing the purification rundown again, making money that way, getting people to donate to our multiple front groups and the International Association of Scientologists. What is another way we could make even more money? Let me see. What if we got Scientologists to pay for buildings and pay to renovate them and we own them? Now there's a scam. Billions of dollars in real estate potentially is on the table. This ideal organization thing was born. Back in the day, prior to this, it was all about Scientology organizations reaching the size of St. Hill, which was the organization that L. Ron Hubbard ran in England, in East Grinstead, that's still there. So you got to understand a little bit of the Scientology history. Before, it was all about, L. Ron Hubbard said, get your orgs to be the size of old St. Hill. So when St. Hill was in its prime, it had a certain number of staff. It was delivering a certain number of auditing. And L. Ron Hubbard said, if we get all the orgs on the planet to this size, we will release OT 9 and 10, which we all now know does not exist and never did. But that was the carrot. That was not really going well. So David Miscavige and company came up with this idea. What if we made them ideal organizations in beautiful buildings, right? Forget about actually delivering Scientology services. Let's just make it all about the building and all of itself. Let's just put lipstick on a pig. And because if we build it, they will come. This is what the scam was. Well, back in the day, this video is well over 14 years old. But here's the thing about it. I'm going to share a couple clips from it because it lays out this ideal organization scam when it first started. And it shows you multiple, celebrities from Scientology who were promoting it. And this was sent and shared with Scientologists. But it really gives you a look into what they're trying to do, because Chicago opening, ideal organization, as they call it, right? Austin, same thing. Spain, all these different places where they're opening these ideal organizations and making it seem like Scientology is really expanding. So let's take a look at this. I was like, oh my goodness, this did not age well, but I'm so glad that it's here on the internet. It's like just a gift from the heavens. Just keeps on giving. Check it out.
You walk them in, they look at the panels, they look at the displays.
And they see the little videos, and because they're so short, it's like...
Now that's Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart Simpson.
They're so easy to go through.
By the end of that, he knows what Scientology is.
It won't be watered down, it won't be alter-is, and they're going to get actual Scientology.
So that's what these ideal orgs are going to mean to your average guy. He's going to get something that's going to change his life, damn, forever.
Now keep in mind too, they're talking about the panels. You know how every time we get insight, we look, there's video into these ideal organizations. What do we notice? One, nobody's there. Two, there are all these panels with televisions. David Miscavige doesn't trust Scientologists to share about Scientology. So the idea is you walk through the panels and it explains to you, it shows you videos about Scientology, the modern day equivalent of telling somebody, if you want to know about Scientology, just go read a book. Doesn't trust his own people to do it. So thought he would build these beautiful buildings on the backs of Scientologists financially and put up these panels, and that will do the work.
Okay, so check this out. So here's the crusade.
We're making all orgs ideal by 2010.
2010.
By 2010.
This is the task that's been given to the field. That's you, that's me. We all have a responsibility to...
The field in Scientology are all the parishioners around a specific organization. And did we all catch that for those in the back? 2010. 2010. They were supposed to all be ideal by 2010. What is the year? It's 2024 right now. We're 14 years down the road and they're still running this scam.
To do something.
Okay, so what does it take to put an ideal org there?
You got to locate a building.
You got to find a perfect building in a perfect location that we all dig on.
There's fundraising to get the building.
And then once that's done, then we go on to renovations. And you've seen the renderings for these orgs and you've seen the ones that are complete and they're beautiful.
Then we have to promote and get it out there.
And you got to get the public aware that it's going to happen.
Yeah. So 2010, this was all supposed to be done by 2010. And as you can see, it's to introduce people to Scientology because Scientologists just cannot be trusted to do this, not just one bit. This just blows my mind. It really does. And we're going to take another look at another clip here. And I'm like, wow, this did not. How much progress did they really make? And I question too. Here's my other question. How many of these people are still in Scientology? Some of them I just don't recognize. So tell me in the chat and tell me in the comments if you recognize anybody in these videos that is no longer in Scientology.
To do really is take a look outside, pass the social veneer, go on the internet, spend one evening watching the news.
Go on the internet. So apparently prior to 2010, Scientologists were telling Scientologists to go on the internet. If you want to know about the world, you don't want to know what's happening, go on the internet. And what is it today? Ooh, no, they're not going on that internet. No, 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 they are not. No, they are not.
You see it everywhere in the culture today. You see the billboards, you see TV, you see the reality shows.
Viruses and economy and
Crashes, stock crashes, blah, 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 recession this, blah, 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 blah.
There are no morals. Like anything goes, anything's acceptable, anything's okay.
The psychs are out there and they have a lot of money backing them up.
Without us actually doing something and changing the course of future with us like getting in there, it's a no-go. And I don't want to live like that for the rest of my eternity.
If you think it's uncomfortable a bit doing what we're doing, try waking up in the morning clueless about how to handle your child. That's uncomfortable. Try waking up in the morning and hating your husband, hating yourself. That's uncomfortable.
We take it for granted, the things that we have, we can go.
So you get the idea there. They've been pushing this thing for a long time. And I think it's interesting too. When's the last time we saw a celebrity? Maybe I've just not seen it, right? Just because I didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. But I have yet to see a video or something of any of the people in that video publicly still pushing this ideal organization thing. So could it be because many Scientologists have had it with being demanded to pay this money? It could be. I could do a whole video just on that, but we have to move on. But tell me what you think in the comments and tell me what you think in the chat about this. Yeah, Zippy, exactly. It's 2024. By 2010, every organization in Scientology will be ideal by 2010. I mean, not to say you make a target, and some of us do that, and we don't always get it, right? But this is like, it's 2024. Maybe, and they'd been at it for a while already, right? When they made this video, maybe it just doesn't work. Maybe it's just not a good idea. I don't know. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. All right. Tory MAGOO 44 here on YouTube. I hope that you are subscribed to her because she is online. She is sharing her story again. You hear me talk about her. She's one of my favorite.
I'm not.
She's one of my favorite OG protesters. She did the work of the Office of Special Affairs for a while. Then she crossed that line and she joined the protesters. And she has been sharing her story. It's fabulous. I think this is from part 3. I'm just going to share a snippet, but please go to her channel and subscribe because she has got some amazing stories. And the other day, DOA, Scotty, and Lara FM helped get her set up so that she could live stream and show her how to do it. I just love it.
I'm not going to pick it. I'm not going to speak out.
She's talking about when she first left Scientology and what she was telling someone that, hey, I'm going to leave quietly. Trust me when I tell you, this is how many of us start out. We just want to leave. We just want to leave and get on with our lives.
I'm not going to make any videos. I'm just leaving under the radar, which that is the mistake that Miscavige has failed at every single time. If he would have just let people go, they would have been on their way. But he can't do that. He's a compulsive knucklehead. And so anyway, I know you're a new sub and never heard my story. Ooh, wow. Okay,
you got to hear her story, and hearing her tell it is even better. And you heard it here, folks. David Miscavige is a compulsive knucklehead. I just love that. She was sharing the story, and I think she was talking to Stacey Brooks. Just so great. I just love it, especially the compulsive knucklehead comment. I'm not going to lie. I thought that was fantastic. I love that. It reminds me of my grandma used to always say her insult for people was egghead. She called them eggheads. Egghead. She said it more like that. But compulsive knucklehead might just be my new favorite. Okay, we're going to go take a look at Jessica PALMADESSA in LA, showing how the LAPD is refusing to acknowledge and trying to actually stop her First Amendment right for a permit to protest. She is with Scientology Audit Streets LA, William Good. William Good always makes it a good day. Let's take a look at this. Jessica put this up, and I thought it really kind of summed things up.
The government must allow you to obtain a permit on short notice if the event is organized in response to unforeseeable and recent occurrences.
So we are here. She came here before trying to get a permit for an event. You guys have said to go other places, and everybody keeps on saying it has to come back here. It has to be initiated here.
They just gave us this earlier today. So if you guys want to read this, that's where you guys can get it for your that same information.
They gave me something like that, and every number I called said that because it's for like shutting it down for like a protest and it's like an immediate thing, they like told me to come back here.
Yeah, this was talking about.
They were saying that it was like for like if it was shut down for like construction and like stuff like that. But that's.
You see how it's just like, oh, who's on first? Totally. Go over here. No, go over here. No, you have to see this person. No, you have to talk to that person. Has it never been done before? Has there not been a permit like this requested where there are, I don't know, ways to go about it where somebody there knows? Or does it seem like creating a lot of confusion to wear her out and get her to stop? Well, they obviously do not know Jessica PALMADESSA or William Good because they're not going to stop. They don't give up. And that is part of the tactic of Scientology and also the LAPD is just to wear you out so that you're not trying to do that anymore. And it's just not going to work. Over at La Poubelle, speaking of DOA, Scotty was putting up some flyers last night in the rain. You know, I got to say, people, when I lived in LA, it almost never rained. When I was in the Sea Org, of course, I hardly ever went outside, but I feel like I still would have noticed if it was raining. But it's raining all the time, it seems like in Los Angeles. Just kind of a side note there. It's just so different from how it used to be. But there was DOA outside La Poubelle putting up these posters. Take a look. I am going to mute because there's some copyrighted music there. But the rain subsided and he went out. And I think some of them are laminated too. He was saying that he had copies that he's putting out. But I love that he's doing this. And then he's got signs and stuff like that up too. So really, really neat to see Scotty out doing that. And if you watch his video from yesterday, he talks about his plan for getting flyers and what he's going to do to get the word out and what he's doing to get the word out about the hearing or meeting coming up about their liquor license. So stay tuned for that. Keep an eye on his channel because he's got a lot of info on that. And I love that he's doing that and sharing that. Now, a bunch of people sent me this video of a guy named Kevin Bouchard who shares his weird experience acting for Scientology under Golden Era Productions. And I thought we'd share a clip of it because it's interesting because he's walking outside the blue buildings. There he over is right in front of Scientology and then sharing this whole story of how weird it was to work with them as an actor. But let's just take a little peek at this.
It was like this big sound stage, Golden Age Productions, I think it was. And they put me in a wig. It was like some prehistoric theme. Had a wig on, like a caveman outfit, and they had me and I don't know 10 other guys on a big sound stage, this green screen surrounded the stage we were on. And they had it dressed up. They had fake rocks and stuff everywhere and cameras in front of us. And we charged and we screamed as loud as we possibly could in the scene. And that was it. So after that, I remember they had all the actors.
Now he's looking around too, because I do believe Scientology security was following him. Link down below to all these videos. Go check it out because it's a really interesting story. And he actually tells quite a bit more. He gets into quite a bit more of his experience being at Golden Era Productions. And you have to remember, that's like the crazy thing about that is Scientologists and Sea Organization members were never allowed to know where Golden Era Productions was. It was a confidential location that everybody else in the world knew that it's in Hemet. There's a giant sign that says Golden Era Productions outside of it. Yet when I was in the Sea Organization, you couldn't talk about it. You couldn't talk about where it was. It was confidential. Everybody in the world knows. You can Google map it. You can now actually see it from Google. My, how things have changed. But he was they would take actors and they would, film the Scientology stuff. And I always thought that's interesting too. You're bringing all these people who are non-Scientologists to have them do things at this confidential location, but none of us can know. Scientologists can't know. Other Sea Org members can't know where it is. Wow, you must really trust your people. All right, something else that happened yesterday in Pasadena. This is great. This is first audit at Pasadena, Cult of Scientology, with an interview with a member. I'm going to show you a clip from this because this guy gives an interesting answer about Bob Ferris, where not only does he acknowledge it and talk to him, but says that, oh yeah, he knows who that is. And for those that don't know, Bob Ferris is a Sea Org member being held at Golden Era Productions. Speaking of, he is the father of Liz Ferris, who is here on YouTube, who has not seen her father, who for 20 years, Scientology told her that her dad was dead and deceased. He is an elderly man now. And we're all still asking, where is Bob Ferris? This guy might know. Check it out.
I love it. It's nice. How you doing?
Good, man.
How long have you been in with church? Scientology, how long have you been in?
Not long. Just 48 years. Started in 1976 in New York.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Bob Ferris, do you know him or?
Who's that?
Bob Ferris?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know him well?
No, I do not personally, no, sir.
I know his name. I know. I've met him. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. What's your name?
My name's John.
Hey, John. I'm Richie.
Nice to meet you, Richie.
You got any questions for me?
I'm just interested in this whole thing, just new to it. I see a lot of people posting things online, and I'm just trying to learn.
You want to watch some videos? They're free.
Not today.
That's fine. Anytime
I'm good.
You're ready. Anytime
Okay.
You're ready. They cover all the areas of the church.
Okay.
The main ones.
Okay.
Dianetics, Scientology,
For sure.
LRH, and what we do out in the world.
Okay.
They're short videos. You can just sit and watch them.
Now, cost? What does it cost? I've heard it costs.
Nothing. Oh, you can do it?
Yes.
The most cheap way
Right.
is to read a book.
Okay.
Right?
For sure.
And this building and over 100 more this size or bigger, right,
Okay.
across the world are here because of that first book you wrote in 1950, the Dianetics book.
Yes. Like the main building in LA?
Yeah. All
Okay.
of it. All
Okay.
that's here because of that book.
Okay.
In 1950, there was no Scientology.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Scientology is further research into us as spiritual beings. You want to
Excuse
come
us.
out of the rain?
I'm good. I'm good. Totally fine. I got my jacket. I'm used to this weather, so.
Good then.
Yeah.
So anyway, covered before 1950, look at man's.
He goes on to kind of give him a little bit of the history of Scientology, but it was really interesting to me. One, he has a conversation with him, which we've seen when you approach Scientologists who have not been briefed on the squirrels and the suppressives that are outside. They'll have a conversation with you. The ones that aren't being, whisked away, and I'll keep saying this, majority of people in Scientology, especially the parishioners, are good people who have an intention and desire to help that has been hijacked. And they've been brainwashed into believing that the propaganda they're fed about what Scientology does to help people is actually happening, and it's not true. So they're willing to have a conversation and talk about it, but they will tell you, if you want to understand Scientology, you have to read a book or you have to come watch these videos. That's why he said, do you want to come in and watch these videos? But the main thing was like, whoa, did he just say, oh yeah, no, I know Bob Ferris. I mean, I have met him, It's like, really? Have you? Do you know where he is? I saw a comment. Someone was saying, if he's being held there, can you call the police? That's the thing. he's, he could there, but it's a little bit more complicated because you kind of have to prove that. And Scientology, if you do a wellness check on people in the Sea organization, especially at the international base, they've got the drill down. They know how to brief the person to handle law enforcement so that everything checks out. But I think, honestly, there's a lot of holes being poked in that right now. So stay tuned. Over in Inglewood, there's some Scientology live streaming protesting happening there. And here's an interesting thing that happened. Different police response. I thought this was really cool. When police got called, there was somebody out there exercising their First Amendment right, being there, videoing. Watch what happened.
Okay, so for those who are just tuning in, I've been at the Inglewood Ideal Org for about 25, 30 minutes telling people about the Aftermath Foundation. And they called the cops.
Of course, they called the cops. How can you be out there communicating about Scientology and letting Scientologists know that there's places that could help them, especially Sea Org members or Scientology staff? We cannot have that. No, we cannot. So law enforcement, I do believe, is already in the building. Listen to what he says.
Yeah. I'm heading out anyway. So.
Okay. Yeah, I just explained to them that obviously you're on a public sidewalk and there's no expectation of privacy in public. So as long as you don't go in the property, then
yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
He's basically like, well, I explained to them, I let them know there's no expectation of privacy on a public sidewalk. And as long as you don't go in the building, we're good. So yeah, have a great day. Oh, I just love that. That is the response that there should be, because that is correct. That is correct. Like it or not, right? There's no expectation of privacy on a public sidewalk, and people can record. They can do that. And that is the thing that Scientology is fighting against, because they want to, hide. They want to cover it up. All that good stuff. See, Stephen, I just saw your comment. I did not find out what the dragons are for. Somebody did send me something, but I still need to go back and read it. What I need are the cliff notes. I need to know where in Scientology is there talk about dragons. And for those who don't know, this came up not that long ago. And it was a video or something talking about dragons in Scientology. And I'm like, hey, where's my dragon? I was in Scientology for 35 years, 3 generations of my family. I did the upper confidential levels up through operating Satan level 4 on the bridge to total freedom. Where's my dragon? I didn't know anything about dragons, so I'm still holding out, waiting for that. And I am obviously still upset about it. All right, we're going to take a look at a clip, at a video here. I do believe this is Lori Plays in Clearwater, who is just reminding Scientologists and Sea Org members of what they have a right to. This is in Clearwater.
Well, you have to get your cigarettes out of an ashtray.
And what she's talking about, true story, people. When I was in Los Angeles at the Blue Buildings as a staff member, or even as a Sea Organization member, it was sad because there were Scientologists, mainly staff or Sea Org members, who smoked, but smoking is expensive, and they would take cigarettes out of the ashtrays that weren't fully smoked and smoke them. It was really gross.
You can't even buy toilet paper because you don't make enough money. You have to steal it out of your org.
And that's true too. Many staff members none of them make enough money at a Scientology organization to support themselves. And some they would take toilet paper home because they didn't have money to buy toilet paper. So they would take it from the org.
Everybody should have the right to wipe their own butt with their own paper. Dadgummit. Get your own minds back. You are salvageable. You are worthy.
And I love that too. That's actually powerful to say that you are worthy, because in Scientology, you're indoctrinated to believe that the group is everything. You protect the group, and then you safeguard the group, and then you deal with the individual. So if something's going on and somebody's struggling, maybe they're having a mental health issue, which will not be acknowledged as such in Scientology, you protect the group. So you put that person under 24-hour watch. You have somebody watch them. and you do sign L. Ron Hubbard's kooky treatment for helping people who are having psychotic breaks, which doesn't work. How did that work for Lisa McPherson? That's what was done with her. It didn't work. That didn't work at all. And she ended up losing her life because of it. So Lori, keep on keeping on out there. Jay over in Denver, Denver Scientology audit. I'm just constantly getting the feels from Jay and the way that he educates and protests and shares about Scientology. There's a kindness that comes across with him when he's talking to the Scientologist and sharing about it. And I'm telling you, as an ex-Scientologist, that impinges, it gets through. Or at least it did with me and others that I know who have left. It's like, wow, when they said, Tory MAGOO shares about when a protester said to her with a lot of authenticity, if you're really free, why can't you read any book that you want? Like, he genuinely wanted an answer to that question. And Tory talks about how it helped to wake her up. And I feel like Jay's got an approach like that as well. So let's take a look. This is in Denver. Denver Scientology audit.
Good morning, ma'am. I just want to let you know you're loved and time is precious. Connect with your extended family so that you can have a good experience outside of Scientology. It's never too late. Time is precious. It's the one thing we all have the same amount of. Oh, goodness. I didn't even realize she was right here. Holy crap. I'm telling you, they got the shadow step, guys. Okay, let's go back around front because, sir, don't you think it's silly that you have to hide from the camera? Just think about it for yourself. You know that's not right.
Right in the feels. And there were multiple, go watch the whole video from yesterday, multiple times where he was letting Scientologists know, kind of like what Lori plays was, it's like, you matter, you're worth it. That is a common thing in Scientology, to make the person feel like they're the loser. They're the one. Something's wrong with me. That's why I doubt Scientology. Something's wrong with me. That's why I don't want to continue in Scientology. That is the indoctrination and the mind control. And for these people to hear something different, it's impactful. It is. So thank you, Jay, for making me tear up. All right. We're also going to look at Denver because Danny and Leah are there. And I love this. They were in Hollywood doing the protests. They were in Austin protesting and live streaming. They were in Chicago. And now they're in Denver. They're doing like the US tour. And I think it's wonderful.
LA peeps, we should do that. We should do that, guys.
The signs, check out the signs.
I know. Thank you.
They get a good amount of traffic that goes by there too, which I love. And again, I just love the signs. And Danny's right. Those would be great in LA because often on Hollywood Boulevard, there's so many cars. And to have one, that giant thing that says honk, is just beautiful. I love it. Okay, we can jump over to Chicago because, as you guys know, ever since the opening of the new Scientology building in Chicago, things have just been crazy over there. The young people are rebelling, the citizens, the locals there. Word is getting out. Different people are starting their own investigations into Scientology and the Chicago PD, specifically one specific officer who we're going to talk about. But there's this guy who has been on TikTok, and he has been, I got a link down below to his channel, Wannabe, what is it? It's Wannabe something, Wannabe Kennedy on TikTok. And he's doing a series about Scientology and the fallout and what he has been finding out since they opened the organization. We're going to take a look. I would love to chat with him. Let's see. All right, take a look at this.
Buckle up, because I've got the biggest bombshells yet in the Church of Scientology here coming to the South Loop in Chicago. I've been doing some interviews of people in the area, businesses in the area, just kind of getting a feel for who was here, who wasn't, and what they heard. And wow, have I found out a lot since yesterday. In talking with people, I found out that businesses in the area, because they blocked out the whole street for this event thing, businesses within the area, they went to them and paid them off in order for them to be closed on that day. So they had active communication with them really soon, right before the opening, and basically said, we want to close down this whole street. What can we give you in order to make that happen? If you live in Chicago, you know that streets may get closed down pretty often, whether it's for a film set, a fair, or kind of local events, things like that. Well, they give you lots of time in advance. There's notices by the city, by the police saying, hey, you can't park here from this to this. Here's what's going on. Well, people in my area did not know about this until the day that it happened. Even the day that it was being set up, there were no notices around the area. And people were coming through. They thought it was a movie set because normally it says exactly what's happening. This did not have that. The other thing about this is this building that they acquired is huge. And I'm going to dig into that later and show some photos of the inside of it that I was able to find and how they've been able to renovate it.
He has a lot to share. So if you are on TikTok, I don't know that he's here on YouTube. I want to find out. If somebody knows, let me know. Natalie at lifeafteroccult.com. But I love that he's digging into it. And he is not the only one, not the only student there or person who lives in the area who has a lot of questions about Scientology and also the Chicago PD and a lot of things that happened and went down. Steph, the writer, she's been looking into this. She has shared a few things, and we've got another kind of like a part 2 that she did about what happened and is happening in Chicago. Let's take a look at that.
Sunday, March 3rd, Printers Row in Chicago, Illinois experienced what a grand opening of Scientology looks like in their city. Complete with illegal sidewalk closures and Chicago PD acting as hired thugs, threatening citizens with trespass, and when asked about the permit conditions, Commander Harris said he had a new permit and refused to show it. On Tuesday, Alderman Bill's office said that the sidewalk should have been open for the public, but not to worry as this is a one-time incident. And
So did you get that? Commander Harris, who is kind of the officer who's really kind of like coming to the forefront as being in cahoots with Scientology, said that there was a new permit. There was a permit to shut down the sidewalk, but he didn't show it. He didn't need to show it. He's the authority. That's what he told people. Get out of the alley. I don't need to tell you why. I'm telling you that's why. He told Danny, if you scream, you're going to be arrested. That's bull. No, he has a right to do that and to scream on a public sidewalk like that and to protest. And then to find out that a city official said, oh, no, actually, they didn't, but it was a one-time thing. It's not going to happen again. Well, that's not good enough. And thankfully, people like Steph the writer and others are looking more into this.
will not happen again. The 1st District of Chicago PD displayed a grotesque abuse of power and misconduct, leaving police officers open to a lawsuit. But the police department wasn't the only one bought off that day. A source disclosed that they knew of 3 businesses that closed down. 2 were paid $20,000 apiece, while another was paid $6,000. And even with high-up org members standing at every entrance, Chicago PD's abuse of power and Blue Star security guard, all off-duty officers, by the way, even with their intimidation tactics, protesters made an impact as they voiced the truth behind the organization known as Scientology, a religion founded by a science fiction writer known to have been battling a very powerful Thetan.
It's a great recap. It's a great recap. You got to click and probably watch the whole thing. She's a little quiet. I had it all as turned up as I could there on the volume, but she's doing a great job there. So we're talking about this Commander Harris. His name keeps coming up again and again and again as giving false information, misleading protesters. I mean, you name it. There's an entire list of things that this guy has done or been involved in where we're like, what's going on? People are asking questions. What's with the corruption? What's going on? Why is there this, why are the same rules not being applied to Scientology? Why are college students being kept out of their housing? Why do they have to show IDs to walk down a public street. Well, boys and girls, lean in because Commander Harris here has a past. Not even that much of a past. This is recent. Check this out. Chicago police commander suspended for falsely claiming crime is down in his district and taking credit for the reduction. Who? Who is this, you might ask? Boom, that guy. Chicago police commander David Harris. So this article came out in January of this year. Goes on to say the commander of a downtown Chicago police district was slapped with a 7-day suspension for inaccurately claiming that crime was down in his district and that he was responsible for it. We told you about Commander David Harris's bombastic claims the day after he spewed them during an interview with WLS AM talk show host Steve Cochran in late 2022. Quote, yeah, I took over in June, and since then, overall crime is down 44%, Harris boasted. He claimed crime was down 44%. Even though crime reports were higher every month under his command than the year before. That's huge, Cochran replied. Wow, echoed his co-host. Cochran wanted to know how the incredible improvement came to be. Quote, well, I'm going to have to brag a little bit, Harris replied. One, my leadership. In fact, we reported that crime reports in Harris's district were not down 44% since he took command. They were up 30%. Among the leadership tools Harris said he employed were walking the hallways at the police station, quote, leading from the front, close quote, on the street and awarding a giant wrestling belt to cops who do a good job. Robbery is down 55%. This is Harris, okay, saying this. Robbery is down 55%. Our aggravated batteries are down 41%. Burglaries are down 42%, Harris claimed. In fact, all three categories were up compared to 2021. CPT's Bureau of Internal Affairs launched an investigation of Harris's radio appearance after Deputy Chief Jill Stevens filed a complaint claiming he inaccurately cited crime statistics and wrongfully took credit for crime reduction in the 001st District, according to a summary report of the investigation's findings. The investigation resulted in 2 sustained findings against Harris that he took credit for the significant reduction in crime since being appointed as the commander of the 1st District, and that he inaccurately cited crime statistics during a media interview, the summary report said. Internal Affairs recommended a 7-day suspension. A CPD spokesperson said Tuesday that he served that time from September 9th to September 15th, 2023. The Internal Affairs report documenting the findings and suspension recently became available on CPD's transparency portal. Harris was exonerated of an allegation that he did not have departmental permission to participate in the interview. Major crime reports in the Central District increased another 5% last year, according to CPD's year-end data. The district lies generally within the area bounded by the Chicago River, Lake Michigan, and 31st Street. Harris continues to be its commanders. So this guy has been suspended already for making false claims about crime improving in Chicago, right? In his district. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Well, let's see. I don't know. It's just hitting a chord here. Who else makes claims that crime is down in places because they hand out booklets? Crime is down in places because they showed up. Oh, yeah. Scientology. So does it make more sense now that, call me crazy, right? Maybe I'm just speculating and I've completely lost it. But it seems to me that we have a commander who has a history of lying to the public, of making false claims, who now was the number one person when Scientology opened in Chicago, who did what? Made false claims, right? Tried to intimidate protesters and lie to them about their rights were, lie to them about what permit said, would not back up what he was saying, shut down another officer who was trying to be truthful. Danny went to an officer and said, hey, can I yell? Can I yell? And the officer said, yeah, you can. You get to do that. Go ahead. And Commander Harris walked right up and said, no, I already told you, you're going to be arrested if you yell. And he's like, well, this guy said that I can, and I know I can. And he said, no, I'm telling you. So this guy thinks that his word is final, that he gets to say, that he gets to make the rules. It seems his own department knows this. It seems, you know what? You know who we should talk to? We should talk to, who is the person who filed that claim? I'm looking back in the article. I'm going to go back and look. That's who we need to talk to, because she filed a complaint about it and something was done about it. Something needs to be done about this guy. And this is the guy who right now is in bed with Scientology, where it resulted in an elderly man being assaulted, in multiple students being assaulted, in protesters being assaulted in Chicago under this guy's watch. And I don't know, seems like if he's got, it seems pretty on brand. So of course that's who Scientology is going to work with, right? Of course that's who Scientology is going to be buddy with in Chicago. So, and there were some great officers there at the same time. It's not all of them. It's not all of law enforcement, but there are a couple of bad apples, and something needs to be done about that. And that is who Scientology goes after. They want to find out who's the shady one that we can get to be shady with us, right? Who I'm speculating might maybe take money. I mean, Scientology is the largest contributor to the LAPD in LA. Could they be doing this in Chicago? Would a man who lied about crime being down 44% in his area take money from Scientology? It's a question. Tell me what you guys think in the chat and in the comments. I'm laughing because my Tony and I are going to Chicago to interview some protesters, students, and get outside the org ourselves. I have not been back to Scientology since I left 13 years ago, but we are going to road trip it tomorrow and head there and spend the weekend doing interviews and doing some protesting outside of the Chicago organization. And I've not been back to Scientology since I left. So this should be really interesting, and really interesting being that what's happening right now in Chicago. So we're going to jump over. We're going to jump over to Austin. To Pearl Snappy. First off, Scientology, come on, fix the door. Fix the door. Now it's worse. Now, first one side, I mean, let's back it up. First, the garbage bags came falling down off the building. And instead of saying Church of Scientology, it said F Sciento. And let's be honest, we thank you for that gift, Scientology. We do. We thank you for that. It was the best thing ever. Their shirts have been made. There's merch. I think Pearl Snappy has some merch. F Sciento is now totally a thing and a meme on the internet. So we thank you for that. But we draw the line at this door stuff. Fix the door. Why can't you fix the door? Pearl Snappy explains in another video what happened with that door. And it was like one side wasn't closing. Apparently they were banging on it. And now it's like two sides aren't closing. This is a new ideal organization. And you already broke it. This is why you can't have nice things, Scientology. So let's take a look here. Let me get that back up here. Pearl Snappy in Austin.
Church itself is probably paying for the security, whereas for this door, it'll be this org that has to pay for it. You know what I mean? So that's why they can afford it, which is why I'm surprised that like they let him go, unless they were just like, we'll pay for your babysitter, stupid security guard for a week, and then after that you got to pick it up. So I don't know. Their tech is faulty. It's not a religion, it's tech, and it's faulty. That door, but they don't even care. Like they're ignoring me. Yeah, that door is just gonna stay like that. The church itself is probably paying for the security, whereas for the
the doors are going to stay like that. And it's very telling. And what often happens too when these new buildings open in Scientology is they can't keep up with the heating bill. They can't keep up with the electric bill, things like that, because it's all a facade. This is serious North Korea level propaganda. Let's prop up these buildings. Let's make it look, let's get Clapping Kyle out there. Let's put out some videos. It is a total fail. and their fail is showing. You just open and you can't fix the door. But, at the same time, we're all here for it, right? Amy, yeah, all the air conditioning is escaping. What is up with that? What is up with that? Also, Pearl Snappy was talking a little bit about some of these swatting calls, and I thought that was interesting and wanted to share it with y'all too. Check it out. Or maybe not. Hold on. Let's see. Let's just bump it ahead, see if that works. It's not playing. All right, we'll skip that. But here's basically what she was saying, and I've heard this too being reported, that here's the thing. Some of these calls, she was saying there are more calls being made, like police are showing up, than there's record of these calls, because they can be made to a detective. They can be made from Scientology to someone within the police force. And then the call is not being, it doesn't show up with the 911. And it's shady. It's shady, but it sounds like that's what they're doing. That's what we're doing. So go watch her video. Maybe to work for you. I got a link down below, 2 links down below to her video that she did with some great info in there. And if you're jumping in and you just joined us a little while ago, I had to start early today because I've got a meeting after this. So if you missed the beginning, you got to go back. You got to go back and watch it, because we have some amazing video of Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart Simpson, and Marisol Nichols, who's on NCIS and Riverdale, who is talking about, they're sharing about this whole ideal organization scam back in the day. They were supposed to all be done by 2010. Scientology hates that video is still on the internet, but that's just how it goes, right? Happens to the best of us. All right. So let's see. If anybody has any questions, pop them in there now. Let's see. I want to definitely say thank you again to the members for being here. Really appreciate that support. What's going to happen is I'm going to do my regular schedule of my recaps here. So tomorrow I'll be back with you 8 a.m. Central Time, and then we're going to road trip it and head to Chicago, and I'll be connecting with different people over the weekend, some protesters, some local students, and just see what I'm really interested in, talking to people and doing some interviews, and also getting out and doing some protesting as well in front of the org, talking to people. I'm still trying to figure out what my protest style would be. I mean, really, I want to go out there and just be like, does anyone need a hug? Do any Scientologists need a hug? Especially today, because today is Thursday. If you are anywhere near a Scientology organization, today is Thursday. And what that means in Scientology, it is massive go time. Their week, every Scientologist, every staff member has a statistics. It could be writing letters. It could be selling books, whatever that is. And their week goes from Thursday, 2 o'clock to Thursday, 2 o'clock. Thursday at 2 is a huge thing in Scientology, and it is not pleasant. They scurry around. They're panicked. They're trying to get their statistics up by any means possible. People aren't eating lunch. Sometimes they stay up all night the night before, because there's so much pressure to get your statistics up. And for what? To avoid punishment. Pretty much, because that's how it works for staff members, especially in the C organization. This is also the week leading up to L. Ron Hubbard's birthday game. And in Scientology, that goes like around March 13th, whatever that Thursday is, close to it, to the following year. And organizations compete to win the birthday game. Austin won it, I think, like last year. It's a big deal in Scientology. That's why here at the channel, I always say we are playing the birthday game straight up in vertical to get to 20,000 subscribers as my gift, our gift to Scientology, our gift to L. Ron Hubbard, and our gift to David Miscavige. But here's the thing. If we don't hit 20,000 by March 13th, which is next week, what's going to happen? Nothing. We're just going to get there probably within the next couple of weeks after that. But in Scientology, there's this demand and this pressure and this punishment put on staff members and Sea Org members to perform. And it is intense. And it is the source of a lot of stress. And it's a lot of what keeps Scientologists, specifically staff members and Sea organization members, in a state or fight or flight. And it's having them capped in that state of fight or flight that keeps them trapped in Scientology. They don't even have 20 minutes to contemplate that they might be in a cult. They don't have 20 minutes to think about their family. As soon as they do, the mind control comes in. That's other fish to fry, they call it. If you want to go to movies or you want to play sports, all that stuff. Other fish to fry. That's why they do this Thursday 2:00 to Thursday 2:00, week over week, day over day, month over month, year over year. So if you're out there, now is a great time to be protesting around Scientology because they're going crazy playing this L. Ron Hubbard birthday game, which is going to be done for the year next week. Then there's going to be a giant event, one of the biggest that Scientology has during the year to celebrate L. Ron Hubbard's birthday. They're going to share about all the proclamations they got approved about it being L. Ron Hubbard Day. They're going to share about all of that. And it is huge propaganda. You're going to see footage from Austin and Chicago and see it play out. And I can't wait to hear and see what happens at that event, because you know somebody's going to leak it. So stay tuned. I'm going to keep you updated. We're going to live stream on the way to Chicago. Obviously, while I'm there, hit that subscribe button and then hit the notification bell, because I'm just going to be going on at times. And we'll see what happens. Taking you guys with us. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to getting out there, and I am looking forward to coming face to face with the Scientology org for the first time since I left 13 years ago. And I'm glad you guys are here for it. So stay tuned. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting that like button. Thank you to the members here at the channel. Everybody get out there and have the most amazing cult-free day.